Let me turn this on. I know that's not what's going to happen, but just in case. So this is an essay and a presentation, just like we did for the last project, the Supreme Court case analysis. You did an essay and then you did a presentation. Now this will be a little less involved. You'll notice in terms of points, you're looking at 100 points. The last project was a little more. Okay, so it should be a little more fun for you because instead of looking at a Supreme Court case, you get to look at a business law film. So we've seen a bunch of clips of films throughout the semester. So you can look at any of those. There's some suggestions here of some you might consider. I love Conviction. It's a great film. It's about a sister and a brother who are wrongfully accused of murder, and the sister goes and gets her GED and goes all the way through law school just to get her brother out of jail. So it's a really nice story based on a true one, too. There's a few others here. We saw civil action the very first day of class. Why is this not working? Great. Okay, go through. We saw civil action the first day of class. If you remember, he was rolling in on a wheelchair, and we talked about some of the issues that can occur there. Let me just log in under a different one. I don't know why this isn't working. I'm happy to grant permission. Guys, why doesn't the MC site work? That seems silly, right? For some reason the site's not working. Let me pull it up on here just so you have a copy in front of you. So you can watch any film. I've also already allowed, if you want to watch the American Crime Story, the one on O.J. Simpson we talked about, you can watch 2 full episodes of that. They're about an hour long each, so it's the equivalent of a film. You may watch any movie that you find interesting. It does not have to be one of the ones on this list. It just needs to relate to class in some way. So if you're not sure if it relates, you can always reach out to me. You'll see in this project you're doing, it's like an essay, but it's not going to be a full-on introduction, conclusion. Instead, you're going to be responding to 4 questions in essay format. So hopefully I can get that up on the screen for you. I'm sorry the Firefox wasn't working. One works well for Prezi, one works well for assignments, I don't know. Or MC is just giving me a hard time today. Here we go. So if you look here, you'll see you watch the film. If you want to watch it with a friend in class, you absolutely can. Just don't write the paper part with a friend from class. On the back, you'll see there's an exercise submission form. So you're just responding to these few questions you see in front of you. First, you're going to describe the film. Don't just copy and paste from one of the IMDb sites or things like that. Describe the film in your own words. Then on the next site here, you're going to talk generally about how it relates to our course. So were there issues of criminal law that you saw present? Were there ethical issues present? And then you'll see, this is the part where you can figure out if you really have a movie that relates well to our class. You're going to choose 2 scenes from the film and connect them to concepts from class to show how they're illustrated through those films. So you'll see here, I'm going to pull up a sample for you.
You said 2 scenes.
2 scenes. So you'll see from Exodus number 3 here and number 4, you're going to use an example from the film in each response. So that's where you're going to see pick analysis come in, because you're going to need to be applying course concepts and explaining how that scene connects. So I want to show you an example of this, and again, you have these samples as you have all semester online, so you can access this later if you'd like. You'll see here this person chose The Lincoln Lawyer, which was a really cool film. They've described it briefly in this first half of the page here, and then generally they're talking about some of the relations to our class. So we see things about crimes being committed. They note things like in the litigation process, the discovery process underway. So generally, you're going to see questions 1 and 2 will tick up about that first page. Then they move on to 3 and 4, and you'll see they are using concepts from our course to explain one of the scenarios in the film. So here you'll see they describe trespassing. Trespass to someone's property, and they say it's the taking of personal property with the intent to steal, and now they're describing how the facts in the film show that crime is being meant. So it's a good way for you to see some of the stuff we have learned throughout the semester, to review it through a movie of your choice. I want you to be able to see how our concepts can be on the main screen, okay? The next thing you're going to do, besides writing this paper, just like we did for the Supreme Court project, you're going to come to class on May 2nd and share your film and some of the connections from class as a way to review with your classmates. So you'll see here a template. I'm going to just pull the sample up for you. You have it in front of you as well. This student chose to do Horrible Bosses as their movie. That has a lot of employment law issues present in it. Computer's going slow today. So just like in our last project, I highly recommend you do the presentation portion first. It's one slide basically outlining what you have in the exercise in the paper portion, the key highlights of the film, and the connections to our course. So it helps set up a nice outline for you for the paper part that you're just going to expand on. So you can see here, let me just make this nice and big on the screen for you. Nope. Nope. There we go. So you can see on the screen just key highlights of here's what was going on in the film, and here's why we see some of the issues present in our class. They talk about sexual harassment. There was a large scene in the film where sexual harassment is going on. And so they talk about that specific concept, they define it, they cite it, and then you get to illustrate how that concept was illustrated in the film. So 2 parts, you have an exercise. You don't need an introduction or conclusion. You just need to respond to the 4 questions in essay format, and you have a presentation. You have the rubric, samples, and instructions here. I'll post this video for you as well. What questions do I have about this last project? You excited to watch a movie? Yeah, okay. Well, let me stop this.